Now the preaching begins. Do-do-doop.
No, what I want to say seriously, I'm proud of my sister. I love her. I love Robert, wherever he went. And I'm proud of him for completing his program. As my brother-in-law said earlier, no one knows what another one faces. But my wife was an addict. I lost her back last August, but she accepted Jesus as her Savior. That was the best 3 months of our marriage. I know Donna, just like Robert, don't ever think that somebody's turning their back on you. You've always got a man upstairs that'll answer anything and everything that you need in life. I love you. I'm proud of you. Thank y'all.
Well, I had never heard of Regenesis until my sister had somebody to reach out to us when she first got into the program. I think she was going into her next step and needed some help. And I had never heard of this place before. But at that time, when you all reached out to us, because of Donna's past and her lifestyle, we had kind of withdrew, and let her do her own thing. And she was going to have to hit rock bottom sometime. And so some of the family said that, Donna was going to have to prove herself before they would, be a part of this. But as soon as I told Donna, I said, some of the family says they have to see, because you have hurt us in a lot of ways. The normal Donna would say, or she'd blame it on something else, or she'd go off. But the changed Donna said, okay, I'll have to pray on that and see if God will give me the right words to make amends. And I knew then that God was doing a work in Donna's life. And there's not just Donna, not just, but we have a lot of addiction in our family. And if I see what God has done for Donna and is getting ready to do for her son and future daughter-in-law, God can do for anybody. So
all you have to do is humble yourself.
I'm very proud of you, Donna, and I love you. My baby sister.
Now we're going to leave you.
All right. Well, none of us are here at Regenesis because our lives were easy. We're here because God kept us. I grew up in a large family. I had 5 sisters, 2 brothers. My father was a Pentecostal pastor, and my mother was a hardworking mother, and she seemed to be the glue that kept our family together. There were times in my life where God's presence was undeniable. I can remember when my youngest son, Justin, was 2 years old, and we had gotten words from a doctor that no parent wants to hear. And a lot of the conversation seemed very blurry at the time, but I remember words like cancer, immune deficiency, ITP. They started chemotherapy on him. And that's when pride walked out, when desperation walked in. And I knew I was a mother that knew who to call on at that time, and I called on God. And I prayed to God like it meant everything, because at the time it did. Days later, the doctors called us, and they had found nothing after running tests. There was no trace of cancer, no trace of anything. Nothing was there. And that was God stepping in a hospital saying, not this one. And then there was a time when my daughter was in a very bad car accident. I happened to be singing on a stage when I had gotten a phone call that she had been in a very serious car accident. Her car flipped 5 times. She was driving and was thrown out of the passenger side window. She sustained injuries to her back, her collarbone, injuries that should have taken her out. And she survived. And that was God stepping in between impact and destruction and saying, you can't have this one either. Then there were times in my life where I wondered where God was at. My addiction was caused by self-medicating after some traumatic events in my life. I was walking down the street, and a gang member and cartel member was behind me and reached in his pocket to get a gun, and the gun fell to the floor, to the ground, making me aware that he had a gun and what he was prepared to do with that gun. 2 weeks later, that same cartel member broke into my home, held my daughter and I by gunpoint for 8 hours. It was on my granddaughter's birthday. It was 8 hours of hell, 8 hours of uncertainty, 8 hours of wonder, 8 hours of praying for my life, begging for my life, 8 hours of wondering where God was at and why was God allowing me to go through this stuff. 2 weeks prior to that, that same gang member tormented my daughter in ways that she will have to carry for the rest of her life. He tormented her physically. He tormented her body. She was affiliated with these people. He beat her in the face with a baseball bat. He tied a rope around her neck, drug her into a bathroom, where he then tried to waterboard her. He tried to take her life. And if that wasn't enough, he took a blowtorch and burned her body on her arms, her back, and her legs, causing third-degree burns, scars that she will wear for life. She will have to carry those scars for life. I'm not angry at that man. I was very angry at that man. I'm not now. But after that traumatic accident, I had to go through another battle, one that was silenced, one that I kept to myself. I was drugged by 11 toxins put into my body without my consent. I was beaten and sexually assaulted by 2 people I did not know. Let me say this, the people that did this to me and my daughter, the people that sexually assaulted me, did pull some time because they got charged, but they served time. They got lesser charges. They made a plea deal and got lesser charges. So they did serve some time. However, the traumatic events in my life also took me to a place of grief where I had many losses. I had lost my mom, who was my best friend. I had lost my brother-in-law. I lost many friends. I had lost my grandson, and most recently, I lost my sister-in-law. And grief overtook me. I was consumed by my grief, and I did not know how to replace that grief, so I replaced it by the very same substances that was placed in my body by the people who sexually assaulted me. I became addicted to. I was one of the worst alcoholics I knew. I became addicted to meth. I did drugs with my kids. I spent a long time in jail, and then it brought me to here, This place has been hard. It wasn't easy for me to be here. I wanted to run my first few days in. I did run my first few days in. I did run. And my attorney was like, you got all of 30 minutes to get back into that program because you got 11 years and you're passing jail. You go straight to prison. When I walked into Regenesis, I didn't walk in strong. I walked in broken. I was very broken. I walked in carrying shame, guilt, fear, years of trauma, and pain. But this place, Regenesis and Spirit Life, became more than a program to me. It became a place of healing and a place of restoration. A place where God began putting shattered pieces back together. Here, people saw value in me when I couldn't. Here, I learned that recovery is more than getting clean. It's learning how to live again, learning how to forgive yourself. It's learning that your past does not disqualify you from having a future. The program has given me structure when my life was chaotic. It gave me support when I felt abandoned. It gave me truth when addiction filled my mind with lies. But most of all, it pointed me back to God. God met me in the lowest place, right in the middle of my brokenness. And I stand here today different, not perfect, not without scars, but healed in ways I never thought possible. My family may have once lost hope for me, but today they get to see what restoration looks like. They get to see that addiction does not have the final say, God does. So to everyone walking through recovery right now, and I know there's a couple of new people, the person God will bring you to is worth fighting for. And if you feel like you can't fight for yourself at times, there are people here that will fight with you. And most of all, God is fighting for you. To this place, thank you for being a place where dead things come back to life, because I was not living, I was dead. Thank you for loving people until they can love themselves again. Thank you for creating a place where healing, restoration, and hope does begin. It does begin here. I came here broken and I'm staying here, but I'm staying here rebuilt. What was meant to destroy me became the very thing God used to show his power. I'm blessed to have gotten a chance to be in this program, and I am staying here because I believe that I have a divine anointment on my life and a divine assignment and purpose for my life. And I believe that I'm going to put roots here and seeds here, and that I will be mentored and be able to disciple other people and help other people who are walking in the same place that I have walked. Because I don't want anyone to walk and feel like they're walking alone, because we're not alone. We are never alone. God is for us, and he's fighting for us every day. Thank you all. I love you.